Madam Chairman, we're live.
Welcome back to our December 1st meeting. We are at our 3 o'clock discussion. First of all, I don't see any of the community that is in here to present to the public or to the commissioners, so we will bypass that one. So, workshop on the best use of the office space at the courthouse and the external buildings. So this came up as a conversation. Come back in. Really, our building must be sinking further because that door is starting to squeak even more.
Because we're not over here anymore.
No, I think it's because the building's falling apart.
Terry will send a request for fixing the door.
All right, back to our conversation. So conversation, it constantly comes up about workforce housing. And so we've got buildings that actually could be workforce housing. But then also we have a large section of the courthouse now that is vacant. So first conversation that I would like to hear from is the sheriff. I understand that you and the assessor have been discussing and have an update for us on the DMV and the driver's license. Can you give us an update on that so we kind of know what that's about?
Yes, the assessor and I have been talking about a hybrid model, moving over to where we bring registration and driver's license together. Because right now it's confusing for the citizens. They come in, they come over there for registration, they come over here for driver's license. We're sending them on this wild goose chase constantly. And I just think it'd be beneficial for everybody. Well, there's actually two sides to this coin. For one, for the citizens, if it has to do with a vehicle or driving, it's in one location. Number two, and probably even more important, is we can cross-train employees to where if we have an admin leave situation, we have sickness, we have a death in a family, something like that, we're not dropping, especially registration, down to one person. It's hard to run an office that way. You can't do breaks, you can't go to the restroom. It's just hard. And if all of a sudden we combined resources, cross-trained, I just think that it would be just a win-win. It would be better for the employees and better for the community that we're serving. So the assessor has been talking with ITD. They have a whole conglomeration that talks about hybrid to get them together. And of course, she just went through her move. So as that settles down and water finds its own level, they're going to come up here and talk to us about it. And I just think that now, before we never could do it because I couldn't absorb them into my area and they couldn't absorb us into their area. And I think right now we may have an opportunity to make that work and have enough room for both the citizens and the employees. Because as you've seen on both places, it gets stacked up. People standing outside over here, people in the hallway and outside over here waiting to get through court security. So I think if we can find a spot big enough for the employees and big enough for the people to sit and wait until their turn, but I think we can be way more efficient than we are if we think outside the box, if you will.
So, okay, question on that. So if we put these two divisions together, we're talking about putting them together downstairs here, taking them out of the annex, bringing yours here, bringing those here, do an area down there, and they'd have to have a big enough space to do that.
Right. And just looking around now, of course, all the doors are locked, so I haven't been able to go in and look. But I actually think where the assessor was before would probably be a pretty good place for that many employees and that many visitors. The other thing is at the annex, I don't know that it was on anybody's radar, but there's a lot of VIN inspections and everything that come there, especially in the spring with camp trailers, RVs, boats. And the way that parking lot is to bring large vehicles towing in there, I think that's going to be a mess. I think you're going to be getting cars clipped as they're cutting those corners back there on all four corners. I wouldn't want my car sitting on any of those corners back there.
We've been concerned with that, and it'd give, because I know, I don't know, P&Z hadn't noticed it much, but I know Annette's department with the building is so noisy in there because all those people. So that would alleviate a problem there too, and plus the parking like you alluded to. I think that'd be a win-win.
And with registration, with sales tax, registration, title fees, and everything, they intake quite a bit of money. I think it would be good to get all the major money sources back here behind full-time court security as well. And those guys are also available, and it does get busy if there's not district court or something going on. They also go out and help do VIN inspections during the time because they can by law do it. So I think there's a whole bunch of wins and not a whole bunch of losses for bringing them back here, combining resources and cross training.
So how many employees do you have?
I'd be moving 4 over.
4.
We
So
do, we do conceal weapon and I'm sorry.
Reval, where you and her thought it would work was in reval, not the. Where
Is
the
that where-
assessor
yeah.
was.
Like I said, I haven't been able to look at them, so I don't know what it looks like. I've not, to be honest with you, I've never paid that much attention to what's there. I was just kind of looking at the overall blueprint downstairs that kind of shows it, and I'm like, yeah, I think that would work because there's enough room. Because I'd move branding and everything over. I'd have concealed weapons and everything because they kind of have to be because a concealed weapon by law has to look like a driver's license. So, so to be able to bring it over, have direct supervision over there and everything else would be pretty handy, I believe. For,
We'd have-
And you could secure that building to where it was closed.
yeah, it would be, yeah.
Yours.
Ours, yes.
So you'd strictly be sheriff's department, period.
Yes,
And that'd give you more space for offices, I suppose.
exactly. It would alleviate some of it. I could bring a jail commander and everything and have him up front with administration and everything else.
I know there was some discussion that you were thinking about detectives wanting. So would that change that? You'd be able to have enough room over there if they came over here.
With doing that, I'd want to keep detectives where they are. I mean, I balk at bringing detectives over here anyway, just because a lot of the cases that go to detective level are also an admin concern. And I kind of like to be able to check in and see where we're at on those and kind of a finger on that pulse. if you will. They're
So
more-
we need 6 employees then, and some space down there,
yes.
either cartography and where.
That'd be
In
7.
talking to the assessor, when her and the sheriff went around, the sheriff thought cartography would not work, but the
It's too small.
entirety of reval would.
Cartography is just too small. It's really not going to gain any. You put that many employees in, there has to be. And I liked how there was office space
There's
as well
2
in there.
office spaces in the reval, and then that large open space. Okay.
And it would be nice. I mean, right now we have our supervisor that's just kind of out in the open with no partition or anything. So if she has to go borrow an office if there's any kind of admin work that needs to be done
Okay.
or employee issues or something like that, it just would be nice to have her have an office, but still be able to.
Because I think we have 3 up there, 3 at the annex, and you got 4. So we have 7 employees.
2 at the annex.
2 at the annex. Where's the
There was
third
3 in there the other day working.
No, it's only Brenda and Nikki.
one? It was ITD.
Is it?
Yeah, it was probably
Yeah.
ITD.
Oh.
Anyway, so
Okay.
would all 6 need to be together, or would we go back and use the old DMV office?
I'd move everybody together. It's one spot for the citizens to go if it has to do with anything, kind of like Ada County DMV is.
Okay.
If it has to do with registration or driver's license, they go to one spot. And like I say, that way you're cross-trained. Somebody could jump over if registration's busy. Driver's license only has one jump over, help get a registration out of the way or titling or anything like that.
That makes a lot of
Another-
sense.
Another remodel. Oh,
Gently,
wait
gently.
till I'm gone.
Yeah, we'd have to. I mean, I'd have to see what the space looks like. I don't know what it looks like.
Maybe we could use the counter that we built in the DMV that's here already, because that was just moved in there. I mean, we might be able to put it over into reval or something. So, okay, all right. So you go. Okay, that makes sense.
The efficiencies, I think, would make it so it was worth some cost for a remodel or to make it, like you said, cross-train and
Right. I think we're
Be
kind of
good for
missing
them.
the boat there of not having cross-trained employees on that can cover each other in vacations. Nobody's feeling guilty because you're leaving one person behind to take care of that for the week. So
Oh, yeah.
Percent.
I think we're ready for it. And like I said, my only balk prior to this was space. I couldn't inherit them; they couldn't inherit us, so we were kind of stuck. But I think it might help.
Cool.
Any other questions for
good.
me?
Nope.
Thank you for your time,
That's awesome.
commissioners.
Good ideas.
keep us updated on what you and the assessors do moving forward, because I think this is an exciting opportunity.
Thank you.
You too. Melissa. So your guys' department was brought up because you have a fully functioning house, really. And it would take a little bit of work to get it back. But what is your thoughts on, could that be used for employee housing? And I'm gonna, just how many spaces you would need.
So me approaching this conversation wasn't necessarily thinking so much about how do I fit into the courthouse, but necessarily why that space works so well for us.
Okay.
And so I just want to talk about those aspects and how they might not translate over well to the courthouse. We have regular evening and weekend meetings, and so it's my understanding that the courthouse currently opens and closes by a certain lock time. And so I'm envisioning having like a program meeting where people have to come in, you have to like prop the door open and they have to go through whatever maze they have to go through in the courthouse to find the meeting, and then the door becomes unpropped and now you're texting and calling people and they're trying to get into the courthouse. And so that, the logistics of that sounds unpleasant and inefficient and not functional. And so that is something that I think doesn't fit us well with the courthouse. As well as far as like easy to find and access. Our office has moved 2 times over the past 10 years, with another scheduled move in the next couple of or few years. And so just the consistency of a business being in one place to be able to serve its customers, I think is really important. And we still have customers that are calling us saying, I just drove by this space, you're not there anymore. And so sometimes I think it takes a while for people to figure out where you are, and if we keep moving, then people have a hard time finding us. And so I'm not in favor of moving just because of the consistency of us needing to be in one place to be able to serve the public. I also think there's a lot of quick in and outs to our office where someone's just, I'm here to drop off paperwork, I'm here to do this or that. And a quick in and out, it's a different experience of driving out to our office and be able to go in and out quickly versus coming here, parking, crossing the road, going through the metal detector, finding the office. It just is a different experience for the customers. Program supply and access. It's like oftentimes us loading up 2 or 3 bins and hauling them to our cars. And so me trying to, and we do have those sheds, but not all of our supplies are kept in an unconditioned space. And so if we have drones or if we have food or if we have seeds for master gardeners, those are kept inside. And so I can't imagine having to like haul bins out and then find parking that's accessible or crossing the road. Like that logistically doesn't make sense to me either. Also, the courthouse tends to be more of a formal space where people are here to do business and they're here kind of in a quiet manner. And we're not always quiet in our office if we have kids or families coming in. And so just the informal aspect of the work that we doesn't necessarily merge well with the courthouse atmosphere or business professional type of environment. And our office needs a full-time fridge at times because we're doing programming or we're storing stuff in there for fair. We have the freezer full of this and that we're transferring over, or just getting ready for after-school programs that are focused on cooking or master gardeners or special events where we're utilizing that fridge space. So I wasn't really approaching this thinking about like how would we fit into this. I was thinking about what do we do, what does it look like, and is this compatible? And I don't think the courthouse is compatible for our office for those reasons.
Okay, thank you.
If you did have to move us to, that space would also need to be remodeled for housing. And so there's currently no place for people to wash or bathe. And so I feel like, yes, there's an opportunity there, but maybe just wait a couple of years until we move out for these reasons, because it's not compatible to be in the courthouse. It's also not like move-in ready over there anyway. So, thank you.
I understand that one. Soil and water.
You go first. We're on different side of the pages. Okay, I'm, as you know, I'm one of the commissioners of Soil and Water. I can understand certainly the need for housing. And so my heart goes out there and I understand that facility would be nice. But moving here, the big thing that I see is the accessibility of the courthouse. You know, where you have to go through the detectors and the limited time that the courthouse is available. And obviously with farmers and ranchers that we have to deal with, it isn't always during those quote office hours. So that would be the big thing that I would see. But obviously, you know, if that's something that's a higher priority in terms of housing, then I suppose we can make it work, you know, because there is space here, and obviously we need space in order to function. So it's kind of a two-edged sword, you know. You're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I understand it, but my biggest thing would be the availability. And so that would be my concern, and how we would facilitate that, within the parameters of the office hours that the courthouse usually functions on. So that's all that I basically had to say.
Your guys' meetings are during the day.
Correct.
You do have evening meetings also?
Occasionally. I think it's more that Dorina has to meet with the farmers and ranchers individually, and then they come in at various hours. But ours, the commissioners, we don't have any issue with that. Ours is almost always during the day.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Good.
Dorina Farr with Valley Soil and Water. I have been through a couple of the moves with U of I. It is a big effort. What I see for the district is similar to that. We are a public entity that's separate from the county, and there is some importance in maintaining that for the processes of meeting with clients or customers, landowners, to be able to feel free to come in. We do have quite a few drop-in visits of people with questions or wanting ideas about different functions and different programs that are available. Big part of what we do is our educational outreach, and those are what are on the off hours, the evenings, with the different organizations around the community. So that's where we don't quite fit into that. Again, with the county courthouse business model, we have a lot of waiter booths, planting equipment, all of our inventory that we keep for all of our projects is all stored over there as well. That whole back room is available if you wanted to use it for additional space, but apparently space isn't your problem. But so we are not utilizing that back room, but we do a lot of projects and exchanging of gear, and all of our outreach events are mostly in the evenings or on weekends. So that's it.
So you guys have shared space. I forgot about that. Over at the Whitewater? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we never,
Did you share space? Do you have space available for?
there was a Forest Service individual that was in that space.
No, I mean,
Adequate space. I don't know. It would take some creativity.
who's up?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think there's space for both of us.
it would take some creative, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What other questions do you guys have?
I think the biggest thing for us is to have an identity that is accessible to the public, to be able to access, to come in and explore the projects that are available.
Sound like the same issue that Melissa has up.
So, Kevin, is the ELC available after hours? They have to make an appointment, don't they? And somebody has to let them in?
Just have an appointment, yeah, and then we have to have, it just depends on patrols available, or if jail's above minimum staffing to be able to go over and open the doors and let them in.
Okay.
Upstairs is off because there's so much eyelets and everything up there, it would have to be downstairs in the classroom.
We do utilize different spaces in the community, but we're still at our office loading, unloading. It's still our home base. And so even if we're going to an external space to do the program, the interaction's still there.
Was just thinking about nighttime meetings, and having another space, or if this was closed up, this is just closed down, nobody can get in here after 5 o'clock, is that right? Unless it's planning and zoning night and,
Thinking of it, the IT department could
give a badge.
give access if the commissioners were inclined to allow access after hours. Typically, right now, the only individuals that have access after hours to the building are directors and elected officials.
Okay.
If we did that with our program, I don't know about yours, but I would feel comfortable having doors locked, so then there's not roaming kids in the courthouse doing whatever.
Yeah, there's,
Like there'd be a
Yeah.
security thing. Not that I think kids would do that, but just I wouldn't want to have that liability.
Terry, do you want to say something?
No, as for my area, I know several of my employees are lower paid employees, so housing is very important to me and being able to bring on new employees, sorry. But as a facility standpoint, I don't know where we're at with memorandums of understanding with these entities that use our space, or who's paying for the utilities. So that is what concerns me. I'm working with the clerk's office to try to find those. I haven't yet, but as a facility standpoint, it's the utilities and who's paying for them from my end.
Well,
That's all I have
extension
to
is
say about
our
that.
office. So that, extension is a county office.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we do all of theirs. Soil and water, we do a donation. And I don't remember what's all in that donation, but I don't know, do we pay power too? We
Yeah.
pay all the expenses?
Yeah. So from a facility standpoint, that's all that would come across me as a concern, is all.
Go ahead, come on, you gotta be at the microphone.
We're on a federal computer network, so I don't know how that would work with the county IT. So when the county was utilizing some of that space over there, they tied into our network. But I am on a federal ID email.
I'm sure we could do that differently, cause Department of Labor used to be in here too.
Okay.
And ITD is separate.
ITD separate, yep, you're right.
Okay.
So the reason for the conversation is obviously housing is always something we're trying to figure out. You know, we've got to house employees and it truly is a critical need. The only, I'm very excited that there is apartments coming on in the River District. Those will be market rent, but still it's going to be a supply. So hopefully they're at least 2-bedroom, 2-bath, where somebody would be able to share some and get into them. We just had, as a county, the opportunity for 3 new units. So though we've got 2 of those full, so I still have 1 unit that is a deed restricted lower income unit. I don't know, it's just always a conversation. We have a lot of room in here right now. And so if we do bring over and put, you know, the DMV together and in the reval space, that gives us really 3 large areas. Because we would have cartography, the front office where the assessors were, which is really a nice office. And then back that hallway that Sue was in, which those are not the nicest offices. There's no windows back in there. Terry, are you interested in coming over here and being inside the courthouse instead of where you're at?
For us, it wouldn't matter. We do have the garage that we use as a shop for all of our working area and stuff. We would be split further than we are now, but it is not an issue for us.
So that green garage, Doug, are you guys still have stuff in there?
We've continued to request facilities to bring over the boxes, and then they can have that.
Oh, okay.
It's just been a matter of time to get the shed emptied for the
Got that whole
utilization.
garage available
Yes.
to you if we.
Yeah, we're already starting to move in.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you staying over there kind of makes more sense then. We just bought that other lot right beside you to be able to do a bigger building over there someday.
Yeah, it does make sense for us to stay there, but again, we are malleable to whatever works best for the county.
Okay.
Commissioners, can I,
Absolutely.
the clerk's office would respectfully ask if there's an opportunity for an office for election equipment. The election equipment is currently being stored in the green shed, and it would be nice to have an office here in the courthouse for all of the election equipment.
We absolutely can do that. Sue's office is probably big enough to
Even one of the,
put the empty ones here.
yeah,
Those two.
yeah, absolutely. It would just
For the
be just for
public's-
storage.
Yeah, just for the public's knowledge. I mean, the north end of the courthouse, the reason that that we've moved out of that and the reason it can't just be remodeled is it's sinking. There is a creek underneath of it. It's something that the building needs to go away and we need to fix the issues and then put paving. No, Cindy, you cannot talk.
She'll move back.
She misses her building.
So did Ed.
Oh, goodness.
Is the rec department staying where they are now that Dave is the director, or are they mostly Lake Fork?
Are mostly Lake Fork.
Yeah, he's,
So that's an availability, because we have some other smaller offices, or,
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Just for long term. Cause eventually that'll needs to go away. So, but yeah, in the meantime, we've got all of that available, so. And, if we do have to add employees or personnel or whatever, having a few empty office spaces are a good thing, so.
But, I mean, housing is a huge concern. We talk about it all the time.
All the
We've
time.
given a lot of money to outside entities when we have availability that we currently own. I know it's not always perfect, but the building department has a strong public interface, and their customers have learned to go through security. I mean, I want us to think about the betterment for county employees to where we're not losing employees due to a lack of housing. It doesn't have to be done today. I'm not saying that.
always a struggle. Always a struggle. Wish there was a magic pill, but there's not.
Well, this isn't even an action item, so it's
No.
not like we can make decisions today.
Yeah.
I do like the DMV stuff. We did think about the parking lot. We were told that there would be enough parking and the ability to move stuff around when we started all of that, but we do need another access, so we know that. I understand extensions concerns because hopefully we will have a space for you in 2 years, but there is no guarantee of that. I mean, it might take longer than that to get all of the fairground stuff in place and create some funding mechanisms in order to build something down there. So there is no guarantee on that. But moving in and out, I do understand that. I mean, honestly, where it's a short term, you guys could probably do one of these buildings so that you could park back here and go in and out.
What about,
Excuse me?
what about the building at the fairgrounds? Like, how long is the road department gonna be?
They'll be there until next year, but that building,
Office.
that's a good question, Allison. That's open for discussion too. So
Yeah, they'll
would
be
that be
gone.
something you'd want to move into, Melissa?
I've never been in there. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. In the short term, it might be good because there is 3 office spaces and, a reception area up front. But the garage is, it's in pretty poor shape. It's a road department garage. So, Terry's laughing, but
I'm like, because I see a bunch of 4-H kids over there, and I just, like, it is extremely contaminated with toxic stuff from being a maintenance shop for years and years and years, and that scares me when you say putting a 4-H type environment in there, as it is right now. That's all. It would definitely need to be cleaned up, in my opinion, before we moved you guys in there, if that's the going forward.
So true.
it's always interesting what you put on tape, Terry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't think we have a toxic environment that our employees are working in.
Yeah, for a maintenance shop,
It is
it's
a
great,
maintenance
but
shop.
for 4-H and kids,
You gotta laugh sometimes. Anyway, that is an area that is evolving and changing. So maybe because it is such a short, an unknown, I understand the concern of moving and not having people be able to find you. I do understand that. And soil and water, I understand you guys too, having, the need to move people in and out. But Kellen has a good thought. We always have people come in and out of offices here. And so they find our building department, they find our planning and zoning. It's just wherever you're expecting to come into. It's the nighttime meetings that we would have to, think through a bit.
It's a different audience though. It's like sorry. That's a requirement for someone to do business, right? And so the audience that's finding their way to your office, it's something they have to do to get what they need done to get their business to work. We have a different audience. they're not there because they have to be there. They're there because they're there for enrichment. And if enrichment is hard, we might lose that audience. It's hard to get people to show up to do learning. And I don't want to create additional barriers to that customer clientele. They're not required to be there to get their business done. So anyway.
Rena, how many times do people actually come in to see you versus you going out to a farmer's house?
With every project, we have people coming in. So every time we have a work day scheduled, we have people coming in to get gear, try on gear. So I'd say monthly, maybe twice a month.
Would it be helpful if we took a record of how many people we have coming in and out, just so you have that data? That'd be great.
We probably won't revisit this until after the holidays and after the first of the.
Program right now, and I need to go load up.
That's something that we won't really be able to do till spring anyhow, so.
We
One
will,
of these days we'll get snow.
we will revisit the conversation after the first of the year. And, Kevin, maybe in the meantime, we'll know for certain. And you can have a chance to take a look at reval and make sure that that's gonna work for you guys.
Yeah, if there's a time that it can be open, I'd like to bring Randy over and kind of look at it and see what she thinks as far as for the crew. And even we can talk
Work with
the assessor
Terry to
and
get a
have her
key.
Come over too, and it's definitely a joint venture that we're both very open to the idea and think it would be a win-win on both sides of it.
Couldn't IT make it so your guys' badges would get in there? I would think you could get in there anyways.
We tried. That's one of the things that I've always kind of laughed about is we have court security, but the guys with the guns can't get into individual rooms. And so if something kicks off somewhere in the courthouse, we're over getting hooligan tools and everything to break through doors to come rescue the situation. It makes no sense to me, but that is how it is. I would think the guys with the guns have access to about everything because it doesn't make any sense. But anyway,
there may be
that's
certain
another
things.
conversation.
There may be certain things you can't though, because you're in opposition to the court at times, and so therefore you can't have just access to everything.
Right.
But,
But they sure expect to see everything go sideways. So we just
well,
have to
that's
have
true,
access to
so
get in
make
there.
sure that happens. You're a Superman.
Maybe you could talk to Jeremy and get your ID
Yeah.
or your badge code for reval, so then you can go whenever you
Go in whenever you need to.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll take this up again in the future. Okay, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
What kind of schedule are you looking towards?
I'm hoping to be retired in a year.
So-
So if you're talking about.
She's
She
gonna
won't
push this
care
up
then.
till 2027.
Exactly. We'll revisit it in January.
I have a question. How large is that space at Lake Fork?
It's not big enough. Right now, the rec department is there and the wildfire mitigation is there.
Yeah,
And
I
so
have never
we
been
only-
in that, so I don't know.
We only have 2 offices and a conference room there. So the office side of that is totally taken up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and actually, we have employees that, we would consider putting up there, but there's just not space to do that.
We ask that because we often work with both those departments with our projects.
But that might be a location at nighttime to hold meetings.
Yeah, that's me.
They've got a nice conference room in the back,
Mhm.
so that might be something to think about.
Conference room is nicely set up.
To provide an,
So how big a space is that house that they're in right now?
is that the 2-bedroom or the 3-bedroom that you're in, Dorina?
2.5, I would say.
It's got
Consider that front one a bedroom.
you walk in, there's a
Tiny
large
one,
open
the back
space. There is a room to the side that Scott used to have his office in that you could close off with French doors.
Mhm.
And then there's 2 bedrooms in the back, correct? Yeah.
One very small.
Gotta
If
work.
it's off hours, meeting places, we'll surely make sure that we can get from the DOC to use that. We'll definitely be a team player on that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. That being the last, oh nope, it's not the last.
Well,
Dang. I keep trying today. Thank you for taking time to come in.
thank you.
Carrie.
That's your input, Kevin. I like that idea very well.
Thank you.
We can have side conversations. Because we have employees working.
Yeah, nice.
But that's a different subject. Hang on. Toxic chemicals. Just saying.
17 years of my life, and I'm gonna wear it till it doesn't pull it ever yet.
Have a side
Mechanic-
conversation if we.
Mechanic shop. So we-
All right,
Yeah,
next on our agenda, we do have an executive session, so I would move that we go into executive session per Idaho Code 742061F.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded, roll call vote,
Caldwell, aye.
Upside eye.
Bob and I,
True.
we're in at 3:36.